Hello everyone.
Hi everyone. Before we jump into today's tutorial, I would like to take a moment to explain something. Today I will be showing you how to create earrings and a necklace inspired by the Squid Game logo. When I first recorded this video, I did not fully realize the deeper context and the themes behind the series. And after learning more, I felt it was important to address this. So I decided to add this voiceover rather than deleting the footage. While I was drawn to the artistic and geometric designs of the logo, I've since learned that the series is rooted in themes of violence and hardship, reflecting some harsh realities of our world. I want to be clear that my focus here is purely on creative designs aspect of the logo. I do not support or endorse the violent message behind the story of Squid Game. My intention is to celebrate creativity and design while being mindful of the real world context that inspires such narrative. I hope this message helped set the tone for the project. Thank you for your understanding and I hope you enjoy this creative process. Okay, now that we're clear on where I am in this matter, let's get to work. I have first sketched this logo on a piece of paper just for fun, and somehow the idea came to me to create this meandering geometric shape using just one wire. And after some quick calculation scribbles, for example, I estimated I need about 11 centimeter of wire for this project. I'm using 18 gauge silver wire. I began by forging the circle. Since this design requires straight lines, creating a template to ensure consistent height is a good idea. So I draw two parallel lines with 11 to 12 millimeter apart. Once the circle was formed, I move on to the triangle shape. To achieve 60 angles degree, I mark the triangle's vertex and use a flat nose pliers to hold each corner and in order to fold the wire. And I also keep referring back to the template to ensure the height remain consistent. Next came the square. I had to be precise to ensure the angles where the square meets the triangle were accurate. A quick tip for creating geometric shape is to ensure the angles are sharp. For instance, a square require 90 degrees angle. Using a template like Lego can also be super helpful. Well, at one point, my square turned out too large, so I had to readjust it, and unfortunately, clumsy me, I forgot to hit record while fixing it. So sorry about that. After tweaking the wire back and forth, I finally managed to fork this trio into a geometric shape. If you look closely, the two wires ends meet, and this is where I will solder to reinforce the structure. Let's move on to the soldering. Off camera, I've already prepared two pieces of this wire logo. Two of them are already made into earrings, and as promised, I will be creating two pairs of earrings in different shapes with the remaining pieces. Now, let's solder two of these. First, as always, I will prep the pieces with the borax coating before applying heat, then I'll place solder chip directly on top of the gap. This is a great project for anyone who are just starting out with soldering. In fact, almost all of my videos are beginner friendly. I love creating small jewelry pieces with wire and experimenting with the shape and space. If you enjoy trying new designs and are just beginning in your jewelry making journey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell for more videos. Now back to work. With the solder melted, I'll set the pieces back on the soldering block to attach the stud, which I'll place at the top of the triangle. I will still be using hard solder though, but to avoid melting the entire piece, I'll melt the solder chip separately before applying it to the joint. Next, for the second earring, I want to create a mismatched huggy hoops. So this time, I will place the stud lengthwise at the center of the square. Same practice using hard solder, melting solder chip separately before applying it to the joint. It will help to avoid melting the entire piece. Let's go back to the first pair that I've taken out of the flux. I designed these oversized studs as mirror image for aesthetic balance. Before I start hammering the pieces, I need to ensure the shapes are aligned and the angles are sharp using flat nose pliers. With geometric designs like this, crisp angles are key to achieving a well-made look. Hammering serves two purposes. It enhances the design with a cool textured effect, and also it will strengthen the wire. Alright, the first pair is finished. I had also polished them to see if they look super good or not. They are. Let's move on to the second pair. This piece will be shaped into a circle. I'll start by forming the initial curve with 3 steps pliers and refining it on the mandrel. It's crucial to ensure the lower line stays perfectly perpendicular and balanced. I actually made a version of this earlier before turning on the camera. Notice how they are intentionally mismatched? To shape the curve, I used a wooden mallet on the mandrel, and when the lower line is well balanced, I am hitting them with frets hammer in order to create the texture. I also don't forget to harden the stud by twisting it a few times with parallel pliers. And finishing by rounding off the edge of the studs using burr cup mounted on the power tools. Now moving on to the final piece, the necklace. For this project, I'm using yellow gold filled wire. I cut to the same 11 centimeter at length, and I will start off by rounding the edges before forking. Following the same process as earlier in the video, I'm also going to be using the same parallel lines as a template, and I'm starting the shape by making the circle and triangle and finally the square. And guys, since I have the experience of making 4 pieces of these using the sterling silver wire, my muscle has been trained to do this. This is why I choose to do the gold field the last. Why? Because gold field is super high maintenance. Every single wrong move will scratch the wire forever, and there is no way that you can come back to fix that. So if you want to do this in gold field, I would suggest you to do practice using copper wire or other inexpensive wire before using the gold field. And guys, I'm about to make the same mistake like before. I guess my muscle is also tricking me into making the same mistake just like before. But this time, there's no way for me to come back. I'm just going to leave it as it is. In fact, I might even like this style better. Okay, moving on for the chain, I choose this paper clip chain. It looks thick but very dainty in person. The hole of the clip is big enough for me to pass the wire through the hole. It looks super pretty like this. but it's impossible to be wearing it without losing the pendant, for example, because there is a loose end here. So I will secure the chain with a little bit of wire wrap. I'm using 28 gauge wire to secure the chain. The video will give an explanation how to do the wire wrap. Alright, until next time, please take care, be kind, and click like. And if you have not already subscribed yet, please subscribe. Happy crafting and see you next time!